Loving Sai Ram, Dr. P.V. Shankar, the Sri Satya Sai Global Council of Trinidad and Tobago lovingly welcomes you to the series Awake, Unite and Inspire. We are extremely happy, fortunate, and blessed once again to have you as a guest on our program with the focus on Christmas. So, Dr. Shankar, my first question. Swami says, love all, serve all. Jesus says, love thy neighbor as thyself. How does one practice this divine teaching in daily life? In the light of, it is further said, it is easy to love those who love you. Even the animals do that. But to love those who hate you, who despitefully persecute you, who condemn you, and who criticize you, is the true test of love. How do we practice loving all and serving all in daily life?
Sairam, Brother Faiz, loving Sairam to everybody who is online. Very, very profound questions. Because Swami says, love is my form. And if you look at the history of civilization, who do we remember most? Who do we adore most? So many powerful people have come and gone. But only those who remain in our heart are the divine beings who are the embodiments of love. Actually, when I first saw Swami, and after that, every time I saw Swami, even if I now think about Swami, the only thing I notice in Swami, all divinity is present in him as the full embodiment of love. I can see the righteousness of Rama. I can see the selfless love of Krishna. I can see the total lack of body consciousness, sacrifice, and the power of healing of Jesus. I can see the power of wisdom of Allah as presented by Prophet Muhammad. I can see the compassion of Buddha. I can see the power and majesty of Shirdi Sai Baba, and the list goes on. Because love is formless, but when it takes a form, it becomes an avatar, a prophet, or a messenger, or a messiah. And their message is more important than the messenger himself. And the quintessential message of Swami is love all, serve all. And the quintessential message of Jesus is love thy neighbor as thyself. So how do I understand this? Now, love all is the final goal, but we have to start somewhere. So that's where we look at Jesus' statement, love thy neighbor. But if you look at this statement, first half is love thy neighbor. The second half is as thyself. So it's presumed that we know how to love ourselves. Now, this raises some question. What is love and what is myself? Now, once we delve deep into this, then this becomes a Vedantic discussion. Because what is thyself, what is myself, leads to the question, who am I? Every suffering, every aspiration, every experience, everything we do eventually points to the question, who am I? So we may say, if I want to answer the question, who am I? You may say, I am Faiz Muhammad. I may say, I am Shankar. But is it really? And of course, if we go to the airport, we give our ID card, we give our facial recognition or fingerprint. It's all connected with the body. So if I am just this body, is it possible to love this body? If we think about it, it is not possible to love this body because body keeps changing. It causes so many problems. So actually, Shankaracharya in Bhaja Govindam says, Gatavata vayo prana apayo bharya vipyadi tasmin kaye. The wife loves the husband so much, but once the prana, the life force stops, she tells, let this thing out of here. Because as soon as the life force is gone, this is just an inert, insentient body. Is it possible to love this body? Of course, many other ancients, believing that this body is real, they want to preserve. They build mausoleums, they build pyramids. Even Ravana, the great demon, prayed to Brahma and did great tapas. And then Brahma asked him, what do you want? He said, I want to live forever. Brahma said, yes, you are. You live forever. He said, no, no, no. I want to live in this body forever with my 10 heads and 20 hands intact. And Brahma said, no, I cannot. Then it would say you can give an exception clause. You can decide how you want to die, whom you want to avoid. So the point is, the body cannot be ourselves. We cannot love our body. Can we love our personality? No, we cannot love our personality. The personality keeps changing. Can we love our mind? Though the mind is fickle, we cannot love our mind. Can we love our intellect? No, we cannot love our intellect. They all have limitations. So any intelligent person will come to a conclusion. The only person that I can love in myself, the only thing is consciousness. The consciousness is the only thing that never changes, that is ever present. And it doesn't hurt anyone, it doesn't harm anyone, it is just the presence of the be. Now an interesting question arises. Consciousness is formless, it has no attributes. How can I love the consciousness? That's where Swami says, consciousness is love. Love is consciousness. The moment we became aware of our consciousness, we become love itself. So, love thyself means become aware of your consciousness. Once we become aware of your consciousness, then we can recognize the consciousness in others. So then love thyself becomes love thy neighbor. And then it's a logical extension, love everyone beyond that. So love is the most powerful and potent force that is in us. Love is everything. We have to learn to love everyone, just like Swami loved everyone. Jesus loved everyone. Now you asked of course, Jesus went on to say, it is said, love thy neighbor, hate your enemy, but I say unto you, love thy neighbor as thyself and love your enemy also. Now you ask the question, how can I love someone that hates me? How can I love someone that hurts me? First of all, when we notice somebody hurting us or hating us, we are looking at them not as consciousness. We are looking at them as another physical body, as another personality, as another ego. But we have to recognize they are consciousness. We have to understand everything happens for our good. I read a very, very interesting story in this regard. You might have read the book Conversation with God by Neil David Walsh. I think it's volume 3 of the book. He talks about a story. I'm paraphrasing the story. It seems two angels met in the heaven. And there was a senior angel and the junior angel. The junior angel has just come from earth. So we'll call them the big angel and the little angel. Big angel is the senior angel and the little angel is the junior angel. The junior angel who came to heaven was restless. It says, I want to be good. I want to be nice to people. I want to practice all kinds of virtues. So I came to heaven for that. But unfortunately, everybody is happy here. Nobody needs me. So I'm getting depressed. The earth was much better. I'm doing nothing here in the heaven. Then the big angel told the little angel, I know you're going through the newcomer syndrome. Everybody goes through it. But let me tell you a secret. See, after some time spending in angel, we go to a special place called earth. That is the place you can practice all your virtues, all the things you want to do. You can help everybody. But in order to do that, you have to go back. Then the little angel said, I don't know where earth is. I don't know how to go there. Can you come with me? Can you guide me? The big angel said, yes, I will come with you. I will help you. But as soon as we go to the earth, both of us will forget who we are. So you know what? When I come there, you won't recognize me. I will torture you. I will hurt you. I will make your life miserable so that you will get an opportunity to practice all the virtues you want to practice. At that time, if possible, remember the tremendous sacrifice I am undergoing for your sake. So, the only thing I want to tell, when someone hurts us, someone says harsh things to us, we should remember this is the big angel who has come to reform me, give me a chance to practice all the virtues. And that's how I understand Swami's sayings of love all and serve all and love thy neighbor as thyself. Saira.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shankar. Very beautifully and simply explained. Another question. What does it mean when Jesus said, if one slaps you on the cheek, turn the other cheek? Is this practicing forbearance? What is your view and perspective on this statement of the Christ?
I'm glad you asked this question. Uh, in our very first interview, you remember I said, I didn't know Swami came into my life even at the age of 4.5 as a powerful force, which I didn't realize. And then he came again into my life when my father died, and he gave me a prayer. And later on, at the age of 21, I read Dhyanavahini and Jnanavahini. But I had a connection with Christ even as a young kid. And this statement, this teaching of Jesus Christ had tremendous relevance to me. And I'm really very happy that you brought this to me. It brings memories back to me. I want to share with you a couple of experiences when I was 11 years old and 12 years old in my school in India, in a town called Madurai, where when I first fell in love with Jesus and his teachings. And this experience I've never shared in the public. I've shared only once with a small group of people, but I thought I want, generally, I'm kind of reluctant to share very personal experiences, but this I think I should share because it points out something, a lesson I learned even as a child. Exactly the saying what you said, when someone slaps you on the right cheek, show him the other. So in my class, I studied in a missionary school. In my class, I had a friend. His name was Jacob. I used to attend a carpentry class, and I was not good at carpentry. I was not good with hands. Actually, I'm not good with anything, but especially I was terrible with carpentry. So I could never do things properly. The tools will fall down. So the carpentry teacher used to get very upset with me. So one day I approached Jacob. I said, Jacob, can you please teach me? You seem to be so good in carpentry. Whenever you do something, the finished product is so professional. and mine, I could not even recognize what I tried to do. Can you help me? And Jacob said, let's make a deal. I find it very hard to understand math and science. You teach me math and science, I will teach you carpentry. So we became very good friends. One day, we were in the carpentry lab, and Jacob was playing with me, so he hit me on the head playfully. And he was 6 feet tall, I was 4 feet 6 inches. So then I tried to hit him back playfully. I couldn't reach, so I jumped. And in the process, he got startled, and the tools we were working with fell down, and the teacher was watching from a distance. He didn't see Jacob hitting me gently. Then he saw me trying to hit him. So he came, he brought a 2x4, yes, a wooden scale in his hand, and started beating me on my left calf. 1, 2, 3, so many blows. I don't remember how many. The skin got lacerated. I started bleeding profusely. And then he was shouting at the same time. He said, you belonging to the higher caste, you have committed so many atrocities against the lower caste. You deserve this punishment. And he kept shouting. Then Jacob could not tolerate this. He jumped on that man. And then also he said, Jacob belongs to the same community I belong. How dare you try to tease him? So Jacob jumped on the teacher, pushed him aside. And then he saw me bleeding, carried me to the dispensary. And then on the way, I was thinking, why was he saying these things? Even though I was only 11 years old, it dawned on me, this is the cumulative feeling of suffering that he has gone through, his ancestors have gone through. It came out. This was just a trigger point. He had nothing against me. I just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time and doing the wrong thing. So I pleaded with Jesus. Jacob said, I'm going to complain to the principal. I'm going to complain to the class teacher. I pleaded with him, please don't tell, forget about it. Don't tell anyone. So when I went home, my mother asked what happened, this big bandage. I said, we were playing kabaddi. I fell down, and that's why it happened. Next morning in the class, the peon came and said, the principal wants to see you. So I went to the principal's office. Then the principal asked me, what happened to your leg? I said, I fell down. We were playing kabaddi, and I fell down. It happened. Then the principal was quiet. Then he told the peon to bring somebody else. Then I saw my class teacher, the carpentry teacher, and Jacob coming in. Then the principal asked me, now tell me what really happened. Then I said, sir, I made a mistake. I tried to tease Jacob, so the class teacher punished me. That's all happened. Is that all happened? Did you tell the same lie to your parents also, that you played kabaddi there? I said, sir, I told a lie to my parents because my father will get very upset. He will come here, fight with you, and he will take me out of the class. But you know what? I want to study in the school. I love my school teacher. I love Jacob. I have no complaint at all. Then the principal looked at the carpentry teacher. He said, this boy is a Hindu. He is practicing Jesus' teachings, and you and I are Christians. What should I do to you? But I'm not going to suspend you, which I should do, but you will learn a lesson. So the carpentry teacher became a very good friend, but I never became good in carpentry. Of course, Jesus was one of the greatest carpenters. But the point here is, it is not just tolerating a pain that comes to you, because when Jesus says, when someone slaps you on one cheek, show the other cheek, what later on, after I came to know Swami, I understood the significance. Problems don't come alone. So many problems will come. So that's why show the other cheek. Be prepared to face an avalanche of problems. But even that is not enough, because once we went, Swami called us for an interview. Then he called me, Shankar, angry man, come inside. And my wife said, Swami, he never gets angry. Swami said, no, no, no. It is not external anger. Deep down, he gets irritated. Because as a 13-year-old boy, I took a vow to myself that I will never express anger because I've seen so much anger. It's very unproductive. But Swami, the loving Father and the omnipresent God, says, if you allow even little bit irritation in you, that will become a forest fire later on. That's why Jesus says in the Sermon on the Mount, it is said, thou shalt not kill somebody. But let me tell you, thou shalt not get angry. That is equivalent to killing. So this is how I understand the teaching of Jesus. And practicing these teachings is very important because it will slowly build our self-confidence. Sairam.
Thank you very, very much, Dr. Shankar. And what a beautiful example to exemplify that particular teaching of Jesus the Christ. In the Bible, it is also said that if you want to enter the kingdom of heaven, you have to become as a little child. What is your understanding and what is involved in becoming, if we are now adults, what is involved in becoming as a little child to enter the kingdom of heaven?
I have thought about this saying quite a bit. See, if you notice a child less than 6 months old, and if you observe the child, when it smiles, it's very heavenly. Everybody who sees the child becomes blissful. Why? Why is the child able to do it? Because it is the innocence of the child. I would call it innocence as in essence, that it is purely its being a conscious, it is awareness is at the level of consciousness. It has no past memories. It has no future plan. It lives in the present moment, completely trusting its mother. So the child is able to give so much happiness to everyone. So I understand this saying as Jesus wants us to be innocent like the children. In this context, I want to tell you, my mother-in-law had Alzheimer's disease, and she passed away almost the same time last year. She was one of the most beautiful persons you could ever meet. But then she ravaged through the Alzheimer's, and the last 2.5 years, she completely lost her memory. But she was not able to take care of herself. My brother-in-laws and their wives, their family were taking very good care of her. She had to be treated like a baby. Everything she has to be fed because she doesn't know what is hunger. She doesn't know what is physical. She doesn't know anything. She's like a child. She was smiling all the time. When I looked at her face looked like that of Swami. Every moment I spent with her, I felt that I was with Swami. It was a practical demonstration. As the big angel, she has taken on this big suffering on herself to teach us a lesson. She was showing me how to live in the present moment. Of course, this was forced on her, but that's like Jesus says, be like innocent children. If we learn how to be in the present moment, in the presence of Jesus, presence of Sai, not worrying about the past or the future, we will be also brimming with bliss, brimming with happiness. Everyone who sees us will also be overjoyed. So that's how I understand this teaching of Jesus.
Oh, very, very beautiful. I think, Dr. Shankar, also, when you look at a child, a 6-month baby, that baby has not been conditioned into any particular belief system, no
Right.
religion, no preferences, no prejudices. So, in essence, as you said, the child is pure and lives fully in the now.
Yes. Yes.
Only as we begin to grow and our parents' influence on us, as well as society and interaction with the world, we start to develop prejudices, likes and dislikes, etc. And that ego personality begins to take form.
Right.
So it reminds me of a saying of Swami that is very relevant to what you've just said. Swami says man has to be unmade and remade, with his ego destroyed and replaced by a transcendent consciousness. So it is the
Yes.
same as we become adults. It ties in with your answer that to become as a little child, we have to unlearn, as Swami said, unmade and remade, unlearn, so that we can get back to that very pure state of being and consciousness. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. Because this is not, we think to be spiritual, to be in the present moment is very difficult. Actually, it's the simplest thing. Our most natural state is innocence, purity, and truthfulness. See, to tell the truth is not difficult. If you tell a lie, you have to work so hard to hide it. To admit one's fault is easy, no more burden. But if you hide it, then we will make more mistakes and then we will be exposed because truth has an inconvenient way of coming into our lives at the most unexpected time. So to be pure in the present moment is the most important thing. In this context, I want to share an experience. One day, uh, Swami called us for an interview, and as I was going in, Swami caught hold of my hand. He said, Shankar, no questions and no talk or discussions today. We are all going to sit quiet, look at each other lovingly, peacefully, and quietly. So we went inside the interview room. Swami sat on his throne. We sat around him. And there was absolute silence. And Swami, so when you're talking to Swami, you're not focusing on him. So Swami wanted to give an experience how to be in the presence with the physical presence. That great blessing. So when I was observing Swami, I saw thousands of expressions in his face. He looked so beautiful and he was waving his hand in the usual mysterious way. And he was talking to somebody as if he's talking to the angels. And we were quiet. And I could hear the clock tick in the interview room. I could hear the birds chirp outside. I could hear the people assembling for darshan. And I could hear the boys coming rapidly, that steps, thud, thud, thud. And I could hear a bus coming in a distance with its horn. And I could hear a water pump. But it was absolute silence in front of Bhagwan. And we totally lost ourselves. We didn't know how long it went on. And suddenly, when Om started for the bhajan, Swami kind of gave an indication it's time to go. Interview's over. Then he was about to give he stood up, about to give the vibhuti. And I was so blissful. We were so happy. It is as if Swami has gifted a taste of the supreme essence of samadhi. I said, I, I went very close to Swami. I said, Swami, why can't I be like this always? Immediately, Swami put the vibhuti basket down. He sat down and took my hand and then leaned very close to my face. He said, Shankar, that's exactly I wanted to ask you. Why can't you be like this always? I said, Swami, when you're with you, I am not aware of my mind. I am not aware of my ego. It is so peaceful, so blissful. But as soon as I go out, all these things come back. I don't know what to do. That's when Swami said, people say, give me peace of mind. But peace and mind cannot go together. You can have either peace or you can have mind. It's only peace or mind. So when you go back, remember this incident with the same intensity. That's why I'm giving you this experience. Every experience Swami gives to every devotee, whether it is for 1 second or 5 minutes, it is to alert them this experience of intense peace. Even if Swami appears in someone's dream, that extreme bliss they get out is for this reason only. And this is how you can be peaceful. You can be in the present moment. You can be in the presence of Sai anytime. Sairam.
Dr. Shankar, what a deeply moving spiritual experience. And while you were narrating it, I was thinking that all of you all were sitting quietly in the interview room, striving to be in the present moment because God is. He doesn't exist in the past nor the future, but now. But how fortunate that in the present moment you had the very embodiment of divinity in its fullness sitting together with you. What a blessing. And I could imagine the joy and happiness, the indescribable bliss you all must have felt sitting in the silence with God in human form. And why can't we, as you said, Swami, why can't I always be in this state of being? Oh, how beautiful, Dr. Shankar. So beautiful. Just listening to you narrating it fills our hearts with joy and bliss and peace. Sometimes there are no words to explain what you really feel inside when you are in the immediate physical presence of God Himself. So thank you very much for sharing that. You know, Christianity and Jesus is associated a lot with the cross and the crucifixion because He was crucified by those who did not understand, who were ignorant of His message and His purpose, to the point where He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. So from Swami's teachings and your understanding of the teachings of the Christ, what really is the inner significance of the cross?
As Swami very beautifully explains uh, the significance of the cross, two different interpretations. One, Swami said the Christian practice of the head, the heart, and then the shoulders, the hands. Swami said this signifies in the spiritual practice. Touching the head means you have to follow the path of Jnana Yoga, inquiry. Touching the heart means you have to follow the path of Bhakti Yoga, love. And touching the shoulders, the hands, means you have to follow the path of Karma Yoga. So here, the cross represents the synthesis of the three yogas of Jnana, Bhakti, and Karma as the path. Now, as the end goal, Swami explains, the eye, the vertical limb of the cross, represents the ego, and the horizontal cuts across. So cut the eye across. As long as the ego is there, you cannot have peace. See, there was a student, a disciple who went to the Guru. And then he asked him, Guruji, who is qualified for self-realization? The Guru replied, everyone is qualified for self-realization, no exceptions. So the disciple was very happy. Then he asked, Guruji, when can we get self-realization? Guruji said, you can get it now. Then the disciple was shocked. I am qualified for self-realization. I can get it now. What do I need to do? The Guru paused for a moment. And he said, nothing. The disciple got surprised. He said, Guruji, nothing? How can I get the highest grace of God doing nothing? The other day you were telling one disciple to do inquiry, another disciple to chant God's name, another disciple to go and serve in society. Now you're telling me you have to do nothing. I don't understand. The Guruji compassionately told, you have to be nothing and do nothing. If you do not know how to be nothing and how to do nothing, I give them the inferior techniques of Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Karma Yoga. You have to be totally egoless. In fact, I remember an experience in 80s. After Aarti, I was sitting in the veranda after Aarti. I was walking out. One student came running. He said, Shankar, Swami is calling you. So I went inside. And there, Swami, there were suitcases open. And it looked like they contained lots of medicines. And then the boys were trying to organize. And Swami said, Shankar, come. And these boys don't know what these are. Tell them what these are. And then he said, this is Dr. Shankar. He will explain to you what these are. Of course, I am not a medical doctor. And Swami was playing with me. So I just looked at it. And then I only recognized erythromycin. I said, Swami, this is all antibiotics. Swami said, hey, there are other medicines also. And I know you're not a medical doctor. You're the other kind of useless doctor. Then Swami said, sit down. Then he said, these boys, you see, they want to go to America. Will you take them? Swami has never asked me for anything. And now he's saying, will you take the boys to America? And of course, I should have said yes. But only the previous day in a discourse, Swami said, all boys in India are crazy to go to America. This is foolishness. Serve your mother country. Their passport should be taken away. So I remember that discourse. So I didn't want to fall into the trap. I said, I kept quiet. Then Swami continued, but look at these boys. They are not happy being with Swami. See, this is no fun for them. Morning Nagar Sankirtan, then bhajan, then go to college, then come back in the evening, again bhajan, listen to discourse. This life is boring for them. And all the boys were saying, Swami, Swami, no, no, we want to be with you. We don't want to go. Then Swami asked, what are you going to do? Will you take them to America? I still didn't answer. Because if I say yes, I am doomed. If I say no, I am doomed. Then Swami asked a very powerful question. Are you a fool or an idiot? And of course, the Lord has a reason. He wanted me to think about this question. I didn't know how to respond. And then Swami graciously said, a fool is someone accidentally makes a mistake. An idiot keeps on repeating it. And then Swami went on to other subject. We spent good time. And then I came out. But whenever Swami says something, even a little word, I take it seriously because Swami never wastes his time, never wastes his word. What is the significance? Am I a fool? Am I an idiot? What is that mistake? Because I am eminently qualified for both titles. So what is the mistake I am making repeatedly? So when I came back to California, one day I was taking shower and I had an Archimedes moment. I discovered something, eureka. Look at the word idiot. How is it spelled? I-D-I-I-O-T. If you swap the letters I and O, it becomes I-D-O-I-T. I do it. Anybody who thinks I do it, I am the doer, is an idiot. I do it, if you rapidly say, it sounds like idiot. So this cross represents the I, the doership. It has to be cut across. God is the doer. God is doing everything. That is the understanding the cross represents. And that's what Christ wanted us to learn from that. Sairam.
Thank you, Dr. Shankar, for explaining, but also adding that beautiful experience of Swami so that we can even gain a more deeper understanding of that significance of the cross, which is the crucifixion, the shattering of the I. Once we are able to crucify and shatter the I, then the true self manifests. And I remember Swami said that Jesus attained self-realization at the tender age of 25. So he was able to crucify and crush the ego through his spiritual practices, which leads us to the next question. In the Bible, it is stated where Jesus made 3 statements in relation to his spiritual development. He first said, I am the messenger of God. Then as he went deeper within, he could then utter, I am the Son of God. And finally, after crushing and crucifying the ego, he could finally assert, I and my Father are one. Can you, from your understanding and Swami's teachings, explain these 3 statements and what are their significances?
Sure. Many years ago, I learned about the lost years of Jesus. There was a film made by Dick Bach, which was shown in the public television here in the US. And also I did my own research how a Russian and then a monk from Ramakrishna Monastery have gone to Tibet and have known that Jesus, as a young boy, visited Tibet, visited India, and came back. And then, of course, the Bible only talks about until 13, when Jesus talks to the rabbis and surprises them with his wisdom. And then there is a blank. And then suddenly Jesus reappears after John prophesies his coming, John the Baptist, and then he is killed. That's the time. And then, of course, Jesus is baptized by John. So what happened during those 18 years? So when I had a chance to be with Swami, I asked him, Swami, did Jesus go to India? And then did he die on the cross? Swami very compassionately, because it's very difficult to ask philosophical and historic questions to Swami. Swami will usually say, focus on your sadhana. But that day he was very compassionate. He seemed eager to talk about Jesus. Swami said, yes. As a 13-year-old boy, he joined the Silk Caravan, came to Kashmir, then to Tibet. And Swami said he was known as Isha. And then Swami punned. Isha is spelled I-S-A. And Isha, the pronunciation, if you reverse it, is Sai. He said there is no difference between the two. And he said, that's when he said, first he was declaring himself, I am the servant of God. Then he declared, I am the Son of God. And then at the age of 25, he realized, he said, I and my Father are one. He said, everyone has to go through these three stages. This is in Vedanta referred to as Dvaita, Visishta Dvaita, and Advaita. First, you have to get rid of the ego to become, first you have to become part of God. At least use the ego to serve him. There you are the servant of God. Then it's not enough being near God. You should become dear God. Then use the ego to go closer to God, and it loses its significance further. You become the son of God. So when you're the servant of the God, you're messenger of God. When you're son, then you become son of God. And finally, when you get rid of the ego, you transcend it. You can also declare, I and my Father are one. And then Swami said, Jesus did not say, I will come back. The one who sent me will come back again. He said he will be short in stature. He will wear a blood-red robe. And then Swami, as he pointed to the sheep, he said the sheep say, ba, ba, they bleat. This is that Baba. I have come to fulfill his promise. I am the Father who sent him. And then Swami said, Jesus did physically die on the cross and he was resurrected. He again came to India and he lived until a ripe old age. And he traveled to Malaysia, Indonesia. And he showered his love everyone. He was the embodiment of love. So you too can experience what Jesus went through if you have the proper attitude. If you develop surrender, you see, you cannot fight with your ego. Use your ego first to do God's work. First become the messenger of God. My life is my message. Your life has to become my message. Then you become the son of God or friend of God. Then you finally become one with Sai. Sai Ram.
Very beautifully explained, Dr. Shankar. Very simple and easy to understand. So basically, they were movements in consciousness as he was able to shatter the ego through his spiritual practices. And with each statement, he was becoming more and more aware of his divinity until at that tender age, he was able to totally nullify the ego and realize the oneness with the divine. You know, one of the most famous reading, scriptural readings that is used by many people, that summarizes the essence of Jesus's teachings, is called the Sermon on the Mount.
Yes.
And to read a little bit of what it says: "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." And Jesus went on to say, "Bless those people who insult you and accuse you falsely and say all kinds of evil. Rejoice and be glad." In the interest of time, we are not able to go through all of these beautiful, practical advice on the spiritual part. So my humble request to you was to select at least two and share your views and perspective on them. Kindly do so.
Yeah, let me choose the first one is the blessed are the pure, and they shall see God. And blessed are those who grace others, they will receive God's grace. I'm going to look at both. So, what is purity? What is grace? When we talk about purity, we mistake it with cleanliness. See, when something is clean, very soon it becomes unclean. See, even if you do nothing, the body becomes unclean, the house becomes unclean, you have to clean it. Even if you look at the elements, earth, water, fire, and air, they all become polluted, unclean, and you have to clean them. But purity is the inherent quality of space. And grace is to experience that purity all the time. If you look at the word impure, and if you intonate it properly, it is I am pure. And if you look at the word immunity against viruses or something, if you look closely, it's I am unity. See, all these dualistic differences arise because of our lack of awareness of oneness. So to be pure and to receive the grace of God is to be aware of that oneness. And actually, that's what all these statements of the Beatitudes of Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount is telling. I want to share with you an experience. I think it's in the year 2008. We went for Guru Purnima, 2007 or 2008, one of those years. And Swami didn't give us permission to leave. So we kept extending, we kept postponing our trip so many times. And finally, one day, I understood why. While I was sitting in the veranda, a Caucasian gentleman walked into the veranda. He didn't look very healthy. So the volunteer in charge of the veranda came to me and asked, "Can he sit next to you?" I said, "Of course." He said, "He seems so anxious to talk to Swami, so please help him and guide him when Swami comes near." I said, "Sure, I will." So in the veranda, whenever I sit, Swami never likes people to chat or talk to each other. So I made it a point to close my eyes and meditate, or at least pretend to meditate. So I didn't talk to this gentleman. So after some time, somebody tapped on my shoulder, and this was this gentleman. He extended his hand. He said, "I am Michael Pointer. May I know you?" So out of politeness, I said, "I am Shankar," and then closed my eyes. After a few minutes, he again tapped my shoulder. I was not in a mood to talk, but he wanted to talk. He said, "When is Sai Baba going to come?" So in the later years, Swami's darshan became erratic. Swami used to come sometimes early, sometimes late. So I said, nobody can tell when he's going to come. Then I closed my eyes. But before I was about to close my eyes, I saw a book in his lap. The book had a title, "The True Story of Jesus," Michael Pointer. So, and as soon as I saw the book, my interest perked up. I forgot my self-imposed discipline of meditating, not talking. I asked him, "What is this book?" He was interested in asking me about Swami, when he's going to come, how he's going to come. I was interested in getting extract information from him. What is in that book? What is the true story of Jesus? Then he asked me, when Swami comes, will he come on the veranda, upper veranda or the lower veranda? I said, we don't know. Last minute he will make a turn. Then I asked him, "Did you write the book?" He said, "Yes, I did write the book. And this is my inner experience as I perceive as the true story of Jesus. There are so many things how Jesus, 18 years is missing in his life, and he stayed in India. So I have my own intuition. I have found out these things. So I have written them all." And then he said, "When Swami comes near, should I stand up or should I kneel or should I sit down?" I said, no, don't stand up, don't kneel, just sit down. Swami will guide you. Don't do any extra movements than necessary. Then I asked him, who is in the cover of the book? Because it was not the picture of Jesus. Then Michael Pointer told me, this is the picture of Mary of Magdalene. He said she was the closest disciple of Jesus, more than the other 13 disciples. Then he asked, if Swami asks me, where are you from? What should I answer? Should I say, I am Michael Pointer? Should I say, I am from you? Or should I say, I am the Atma? I said, don't do all those things. Just be plain that you are so and so from UK. Then now he wanted to tell me about the book. Then he said, what do you do? He said. I said, I am a computer scientist. He said, I do mysticism. I asked him, how can you do mysticism? You can do other jobs. How can you do mysticism? Then he gave me a shocking answer. Mysticism is the only job we should do. Other jobs should be part-time. This is a lack of understanding the true purpose of life. Then he said, I have written 2 other books about the ancient Celtic wisdom. He said, our ancients were in tune with God, in tune with nature. Don't think the sun is a planet. He said, it's a living being. Don't think Earth is a planet. It's a living being. Their energies are continuously emanating. There is energy emanating from you and I. If we know how to align our energy with that of the sun, with that of the earth, with that of the trees, with that of nature, nature will reveal so many truths to you. It is my personal experience. And he said, for instance, I can tell you something. Where do you live? I said, I live in California. He said, if I close my eyes, you tell me the address, I can see your house. I can tell you, is anybody there? See, this power is within all of us. We are simultaneously connected with all of nature. The sadhana, the purity, and the grace of God is to be connected with all of creation and see God in everyone. Anybody can do it. See, they do water divining. It is all true. I used to do that. Anybody can do it. Just be in the present moment and align yourself with everything around you in your purest essence. You will gain extraordinary knowledge. You can close your eyes and focus on between your eyebrows. All wisdom will come to you. And he said, I will tell you more details after the entrance. So after Swami comes, I will tell you, or tomorrow I will come and tell you. I feel like sharing all the secrets with you. And then I'll give you the book, you can read it. Suddenly there was a hustle and bustle in the veranda. Swami had come. From a distance, Swami saw Michael sitting next to me. He came very close. Swami asked him, where are you from? Then he forgot all my instruction to him. He tried to stand up. He said, I am from you. Swami said, no, sir, where are you from? Then he said, Swami, I am from UK. Oh, then in his excitement, he was so happy, he forgot to give the book to Swami. Swami asked him, what is that book you have in your hand? He said, Swami, this is the true story of Jesus. Swami asked, who is in the front of the page? He said, this is a picture of Mary of Magdalene. And then Swami took the book, looked at it, flipped through it, and then gave it back to him. Michael pointed, said, Swami, this is for you. Swami said, you keep it. And then blessed him. And then Swami went away. He was so happy. He forgot about me. He just got up and walked away. Next morning, this happened in the afternoon. Next morning, I came for darshan. I was looking for Michael Pointer because I thought he's going to tell me about the true story of Jesus. And he's going to let me browse through his book. But he didn't come. Then I was thinking, and Swami was standing in the veranda in a far looking at me. I was looking at him. Then I said, Swami, Michael Pointer tells all wisdom is in front of us. If only you focus your attention, it'll come to you. Why am I not able to see it? Why am I not able to understand it? At that very instant, an experience happened. Within my eye, I saw like a computer screen scrolling down all kinds of statements. And first, it was going rapidly. I couldn't recognize what was. And then it slowed down a little bit, and I couldn't recognize for a while. And then I could recognize Sanskrit and the ancient languages one by one until modern English. But it was going fast enough so I could not decipher any message out of it. But at least I could say the entire wisdom of all of humanity is right in front of us. If only we could align ourselves with nature, align ourselves with Bhagwan's love, all this will be available to us. And then Swami, when I opened my eyes, Swami was still looking, having given that experience. And I thanked him from my heart. Next trip when I came, I asked the volunteer, what happened to this Michael Pointer, whom I call a Western mystic? Then the volunteer said, you remember last time he was sitting next to you? He got up. The reason he got up in a hurry, because he had some illness. He went to the hospital. Later on, I did some research on them. His family profession is a jewelry. His great-grandmother was an Indian. Great-grandfather was a British in the British Army. And he himself loved India, came to India. He had an MD, but he took an alternate degree in Ayurveda in Calcutta. And then he had prostate cancer. It became seriously ill. That's why his body was being wasted away. He wanted to see Swami. Even at that time, he didn't ask Swami to heal him. He wanted to share his experience, his discovery of Jesus. That's all he came. And actually, he talked to Swami, and I was fortunate enough to talk to him. But I learned a valuable lesson that day. What that beatitude of Jesus says is, be pure. Those who are pure will see God. Those who give grace to others will receive God's grace. We have to be connected with one and all. That is the highest principle of Advaita. Sairam.
Thank you, Dr. Shankar. What an experience you had. I don't know what to say to describe or add anything to what you shared. So I will leave it as it is. So my final question on this very beautiful interview, which is directed towards Christ and his teachings. When we look around in the society today, in the celebration of his birth, we see many instances where we have taken Christ out of Christmas. The celebration of his birthday has degenerated into consuming alcohol and meat and dancing. And we seem to have moved away from the real purpose and essence of his life. What really is the best way to celebrate this birth of the Christ, Jesus the Christ? How should we celebrate Christmas, which really surrounds the birth of this wonderful and divine being?
I remember a story once told by Swami. He said, one poor boy wanted to go to church. He was not allowed. He was not dressed properly, so they sent him away. He was sad. As I was walking by, he saw a man wearing a robe with a beard and long hair. And he asked him, why are you sitting here? Don't you want to go to church? Why didn't you go? The man said, they won't allow me inside the church. The boy asked, who are you? Why won't they allow you? You are wearing decent clothes. You look good. He said, my name is Jesus Christ. I am not allowed in my church. Kind of what you summarize, how we have degenerated the teachings of Jesus. In one of the discourses, Swami said, a priest by name Jensen was traveling in Germany. There he saw a tribe trying to sacrifice a child in front of a tree. He stopped them. He got upset with them. He said, why are you killing the child? What on earth are you doing? He said, this is a divine tree. You have to offer the child as an offering. He said, are you foolish? Then he said, All of us are divine. The child is also divine. How can you do like this? Then he took a pickaxe and hit the tree and broke it. The moment the tree broke into two pieces, he had a vision of a divine child in that. Swami said that tree was Christmas tree. And from that day onwards, the Christmas tree got associated with the Christmas celebration. Swami also said on a later occasion, we are celebrating Christmas on 25th of December. And the nativity scene is very important. But he says, actually, in 1979, in Christmas Discourse, Swami mentions this. Actually, 1980 years ago, this was in 1979, Swami says, Jesus was born on December 28th at 3:10 a.m. It was a Sunday. Swami says authoritatively, that's when he was born. Later on, there was a priest called Saint Nicholas. He was in what we call modern Turkey. He was a rich man. He was so generous. He started giving everything he had. So people have associated, that's why Santa Claus, Saint Nicholas became Santa Claus, Christmas. And so they combined Jesus' birthday, the honoring of Saint Nicholas. And then, of course, now Christmas has become sales, special merry, special celebration. So we have made it a business. It is our own misfortune. The best way to celebrate Christmas is to develop the Christ consciousness in us, the Krishna consciousness in us, the Sai consciousness in us. He said, the day you develop the oneness, cut your ego across, connect and interact with all of nature as one, when you become pure like that, that is the day you're qualified to celebrate the birthday of Jesus. So we should surrender ourselves to Jesus, surrender ourselves to Sai, and live in that glory of the divine advent and try to live their teachings. Because when one attempts to practice Swami's teachings, tremendous bliss comes. Swami said, if you're happy in that instance, God will manifest in you. And seeing you, others will be happy. Be happy always. Be blissful. Help ever, hurt never. So that's how we should celebrate Christmas or any holy festival.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shankar, for sharing the best way to celebrate the birth of Jesus the Christ. And on the spur of the moment, I wanted to ask you, have you ever been there around Christmas time in Puttaparthi?
Yes, only once.
And
that is the year of 1990.
1990.
Yes.
I have been there one or two occasions for Christmas. And it is one of the most beautiful, blissful periods in the year when you celebrate Christmas at Puttaparthi. You have groups that come from all parts of the world. Sometimes I've seen people sitting on the lawns and singing carols in Spanish and German and English with a little bonfire. And then on Christmas Day, Swami allows the foreigners to do Nagar Sankirtan, and he comes out in this beautiful white gown and they sing Silent Night, Holy Night. It's a most beautiful way to celebrate the birth of Jesus the Christ by actually being in the physical presence of the one who sent him into the world. So can you share a little bit about that Puttaparthi experience of celebrating Christmas?
Yeah, this happened this way because Swami wanted us to come during festivals time. Always. He would say, you should come for Guru Purnima, you should come for birthday. Actually, we didn't want to come during festival time because Swami is not accessible that much. So we were selfish. We wanted to come at a time when Swami is free, but God's plans are different. Swami said, come during festival time because so many devotees will come. So much grace will be there. Because I learned that one Swami in one of his discourses said, an avatar's grace has 3 layers. The physical rays of grace, the subtle rays of grace, and the causal rays of grace. He said the physical rays of grace can go up to 40, 50 miles where his body is. And he says during special functions like Guru Purnima, birthday, or Christmas, Swami's energy is so much. He said, when so many devotees come, so much bliss comes because your bliss is my food. So my energy will come. I want you to enjoy it. So come during that time. The subtle grace is available. That's why Swami comes in the dreams. And the causal grace is always there. But you don't have enough awareness to receive my grace in the subtle state or in the causal state. At least in the physical state, come during these festivals and receive, soak yourself in divinity. So I used to get 2 weeks leave during Christmas. So I used to tell Swami, you are always asking us to come for Guru Purnima on birthday, but I'm wasting my 2 weeks. I have to take so much leave, then I have extra leave when I go back. So why don't I come at Christmas? So he permitted in 1990. And of course, I also participated in the Nagar Sankirtan, and Swami in his white robe, so beautiful. And that's the day on the New Year's Eve when he gave an interview. In that interview only, he told me, angry man, he called me. That's why he said, the message that particular Christmas day when I went, he said, don't develop even a single critical thought in you. Because when we develop a desire, when we develop a negative quality, we are not allowing God's presence within us. God's presence, God's grace is flowing into us, but we are turning it away. He said, the reason you're not happy because you don't want to be happy. The reason you're not blissful, you don't want to be blissful. How do you say you don't want to be happy? If you really want to be happy, you will be in a thoughtless state. You will be in the present moment, in the presence of Sai. So that's the blissful experience I had during that special Christmas.
Thank you very much, Dr. P.V. Shankar. It has been an absolute honor, a privilege, and a joy to interact with you, to share the birth of Jesus to Christ according to the teachings of Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. And on this very special occasion and season of Christmas, it has been a most wonderful, wonderful divine interaction. So the Sri Satya Sai Global Council of Trinidad and Tobago wishes to express gratitude and appreciation to you for taking the time to share your perspective on the birth, the life, the teachings of this wonderful divine master, Jesus the Christ, as stated, as guided by the teachings of Sri Satya Sai Baba. May Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba continue to bless you and guide you. May you continue to be the loving instrument that you are as his mission unfolds. Jai Sai Ram.
Jai Sai Ram.